Here I have Versace Energy Eros, right? And this is by far the most controversial fragrance ever released. One of the most hyped, one of the most controversial, one of just like there's so many mixed opinions on this. And first let's go with packaging standard, right? But the bottle. I always thought Versace did bottles great. Simple, there's no magnetic cap, but you don't need it. You just click it on. But in terms of bottle, it always feels high quality. There's a reason people break these down and put them on pieces of art. So looking at the main accords, right? This looks very different from the regular Eros bottle, which is like a sapphire. But the main accords, citrus, aromatic, fresh, spicy, musky, and woody. Aromatic, spicy, musky, and woody are pretty close, with the main accord citrus running off the charts, right? And this was launched in 2024. Obviously, this is not going to go in the winter. This is spring and a summer type fragrance. Definitely good for day. Let's look at the top notes. Lemon, lime, grapefruit, blood orange, Sicilian bergamot, and mandarin orange. The middle notes are pink, pepper, white, amber, black currant. Base notes are musk, oak moss, and patchouli. So let's get to the spray. So I've heard mixed reviews about this. Let's start with some bad comments I've heard. It smells like cleaner, like a Lysol. And I tell you right now, I don't get that ever. I have never sprayed this and said, that smells like cleaner. I think the lemon is very strong. But the lemon they use smells like I went outside and just crushed a lemon. Now, another thing is it's a redundant of Aventus. And I will admit, the first spray you get is the most beautiful. Like the dry down on this, I wish there was more lemon. And people are going to think I'm crazy. But on the dry down, it shocks me because the main accord is citrus, but I get more musky, more woody, that Adventus DNA without the sharpness of Adventus, which makes Adventus, which makes it a great fragrance. But that first, the lemon head candy, I get that, but everyone says just lemon. I get the orange. I get the blood orange in here. I get a slight hinge of the lime. I don't just get lemon. Although you do get a strong smell of, that lemon head candy. Now, this was my first day wearing it. And I've already gotten a compliment on this. This is just the initial review. I'm going to do a review when we get closer to this down. And I do have some mixed thoughts because it doesn't last when I spray it here. Maybe 2 hours, 3 hours. But by hour 4, I can't smell it. On my watch hand with the brace, it lasts all day. And it's a beautiful smell. And people just say lemon. I get a lot of lime in there as well. It's just a beautiful citrus fragrance. If you don't like citrus, absolutely not a fragrance. But I love this. I can't get enough. I argue this smells better in air than it does on my skin. Because in air or even on clothing, it does tend to last a bit longer, right? But this is just an initial review. Let's see how this performs. After spending some time with this, I have some thoughts. So this gets a good amount of compliments, but this is one you have to overspray. For citrus fragrance, there's better performing citrus fragrance. You have to keep in mind the concentration. This is eau de parfum, not parfum. I would have loved this in a parfum. My rating would have been higher. But this is one that you're going to have to reapply. I get a good somewhere between 2 to 4 hours before you get skin scent at best. However, that could be me going nose blind because this did get compliments, but I did overspray like crazy. I had to reapply during that time frame. Now, as someone who's known to be very critical, who gives out low ratings compared to others, I have 2 ratings, and this is the first time I have 2 ratings for a single fragrance. Now, do not buy this for $139. If you buy this for $139, I give it a 6, 6.6. Yeah, I give it a 6, not even a 6.2, a 6. I got this for $60, $60 at Costco. So for $60 from Costco, I give this actually a 7. 7.2 for $60. $139, we're going towards 6, but at $60 before tax, this is up on my list, because for this price point you get a beautiful fragrance. And people say they only get lemon. I get a lot more than just the initial lemon. Lemon is the strongest scent, but I smell the grapefruit, I smell the orange. You get a dry down, not, I would say, similar to Adventus, but it's not as sharp, not as beautiful, not as strong as Adventus, right? But for $60, that's kind of what you got. You can't go wrong with getting this brand new. I'm not even talking tester at Costco for $60. You have to keep the lookout. At $60, this is a hard to beat summer fragrance. They get compliments.